You just woke up. You look around, recognize your room, remember what you did yesterday, your childhood, your whole life. But what if I told you there is a real scientific possibility that you just popped into existence 5 seconds ago, floating in the cosmic void, with all those memories being just quantum illusions implanted in a solitary brain? And even more disturbing, according to some modern physics calculations, this would be mathematically more probable than you having actually lived all that life you remember. Welcome to the most hauntingly fascinating and existentially disturbing concept in modern cosmology, Boltzmann brains. Today we're diving into one of the most controversial and mind-bending ideas in theoretical physics, one that questions the very nature of our reality and existence. You'll discover why some of the world's greatest physicists lose sleep thinking about this possibility, how thermodynamics can create brains from nothing, and by the end of this video I promise you'll never look at your own consciousness the same way again. Get ready for a journey that will challenge everything you think you know about being real. Hello, cosmic explorers. This is Cosmic Frontiers, and you're about to embark on another expedition to the confines of reality. We're on an incredible journey towards 1,000 explorers, unraveling the deepest mysteries of the universe together. To understand Boltzmann brains, we first need to know Ludwig Boltzmann, the 19th century Austrian physicist who revolutionized our understanding of thermodynamics. Boltzmann discovered that entropy, that fundamental force that causes things to naturally disorganize, is directly related to the number of possible ways a system's particles can arrange themselves. Imagine a box with 1,000 puzzle pieces. There's only one way to assemble them perfectly, but there are trillions upon trillions of ways to leave them messy. Nature always prefers chaos, because it's statistically more probable. Now, here's where things get interesting. If the universe is truly infinite in space and time, as many cosmologists believe, then any arrangement of particles that is physically possible, no matter how improbable, will eventually happen. And when I say any arrangement, I mean any, including arrangements that form complete conscious brains, floating alone in the vacuum of space, with fully formed memories, personalities, and experiences. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a machine that rolls dice forever. Even if the chance of rolling 10 sixes in a row is minuscule, if you roll for an infinite amount of time, it will happen not just once, but an infinite number of times. The universe works similarly with particles. If we wait long enough, quantum fluctuations in the vacuum can, by pure chance, create any physically possible structure. But here is the paradox that makes physicists pull their hair out. It is much easier to form a brain alone than to form a brain along with an entire universe around it. Let's use an analogy. What's more probable, a hurricane passing through a junkyard and assembling a complete Boeing 747, or the same hurricane creating just the cockpit of the plane? Obviously the cockpit, because it requires far fewer specifically organized parts. Similarly, the random forces of the universe have a much greater chance of creating an isolated brain with false memories than creating the entire cosmic history that led to our current brain. And here we come to the point that will make you question everything. If Boltzmann brains are more probable than observers like us, then statistically speaking, any conscious observer in the universe is more likely to be a Boltzmann brain than a naturally evolved being. This means that right now, as you watch this video, there's a mathematical probability that you are actually a brain floating in the cosmic void, with implanted memories of this conversation, this channel, your entire life. Physicist Sean Carroll, one of the foremost experts in cosmology today, describes this paradox as the most important thing nobody understands about the universe, because if we take statistical mechanics to its logical limit, we arrive at a conclusion that seems absurd. The majority of conscious observers in the universe would be illusory. Now, before you have a complete existential crisis, let's see how the scientific community deals with this paradox. First, it's important to understand that this isn't just cheap philosophy. It's a direct consequence of well-established physical theories applied to an infinite universe. According to our current understanding of thermodynamics and quantum mechanics, Boltzmann brains are not only possible, but inevitable. One of the most elegant escapes from this paradox comes from modern cosmology. If the universe is not infinite, or if there's some mechanism that limits quantum fluctuations, then Boltzmann brains become much less probable. Some cosmologists propose that the accelerated expansion of the universe, caused by dark energy, might be exactly this protective mechanism. The expansion stretches space-time in such a way that quantum fluctuations don't have enough time to form complex structures like brains. Other physicists, like Raphael Boussot of Berkeley, argue that we need to fundamentally rethink how we count observers in the universe. Perhaps our intuition about infinite probabilities is simply wrong, and we need new mathematical tools to deal with infinite universes. There's also the possibility that our own existence is evidence against Boltzmann brains. If we were Boltzmann brains, it would be extremely unlikely that we would observe a universe as organized and consistent as ours. Random brains would have a much greater chance of observing pure chaos. The fact that we can do science, discover consistent natural laws, and predict the future might be exactly the proof that we evolved naturally. But perhaps the deepest implication of Boltzmann brains isn't about our physical reality, but about the limits of scientific knowledge itself. They force us to confront fundamental questions. What does it mean to exist? How can we be sure of our memories? Is there any way to distinguish reality from perfect illusion? The fascinating thing is that these questions connect the most advanced physics with philosophical problems that humans have been contemplating for millennia. Descartes, 400 years ago, already wondered if we could be sure that we weren't being deceived by an evil demon who implanted false thoughts in our minds. Boltzmann brains are, in a way, the modern scientific version of this Cartesian doubt. Some philosophers and physicists argue that, even if we were Boltzmann brains, it wouldn't change anything about how we should live our lives. Our subjective experience would still be real to us. The love we feel, the beauty we see, the knowledge we acquire, all of it would continue to have meaning within the context of our conscious experience, regardless of how that consciousness arose. On the other hand, there are those who say that if we took the possibility of being Boltzmann brains seriously, it would destroy the very foundation of science. How could we trust our observations of the universe if they might just be false, implanted memories? How could we be sure that the laws of physics we discover reflect reality and not just the illusions of a solitary brain? What fascinates me most about this paradox is how it reveals the limits of scientific rationality itself. Science is based on the idea that we can learn about the universe through observation and experimentation. But Boltzmann brains show that, taken to the extreme, this same scientific logic can question its own validity. It's as if the universe presents us with a fundamental enigma. To fully understand reality, we need to accept the possibility that our understanding of reality might be completely wrong. It's an almost poetic recursivity that connects the greatest mysteries of physics with the deepest questions about consciousness and existence. Recapping our cosmic journey today, we discovered that the laws of thermodynamics, applied to an infinite universe, suggest that isolated brains with false memories are more probable than our natural evolution. We saw how this paradox challenges both our understanding of physics and our conception of reality. And we explored the various attempts by modern science to solve this existential enigma. The most impressive thing is to realize that, even when confronted with the possibility that our entire experience is illusory, we continue to seek knowledge, create art, love one another. Perhaps this tells us something profound about the nature of consciousness, that the act of existing and observing the universe has intrinsic value, regardless of how we came to exist. Boltzmann brains remind us that, in an infinite and mysterious universe, the most important questions may not have definitive answers. And perhaps that's exactly what makes our journey of discovery so precious. Every moment of consciousness, every scientific insight, every feeling of awe before the cosmic immensity can be unique and unrepeatable, even if, or especially if, it emerged from the random fluctuations of the vacuum itself. Cosmic explorers, here's my question for you. If you discovered you were truly a Boltzmann brain, with only a few minutes of real existence, would that change how you approach life? How would you choose to live those moments of consciousness? Share your reflections in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about how you process this possibility. And speaking of cosmic mysteries, what enigma of the universe would you like me to talk about in the next video? Black holes that might be portals to other universes, the possibility that we live in a cosmic hologram, the mystery of dark matter. Leave your suggestions in the comments. We're on an incredible journey towards 1,000 cosmic explorers. If this video expanded your horizons about the nature of reality and consciousness, join our crew by clicking subscribe. Like this video if it made you question everything you thought you knew about existing. and share it with someone who also loves intellectual challenges that make the mind explode. In the next video, we'll explore another mystery that challenges our fundamental understanding of the universe. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, in an infinite and mysterious cosmos, curiosity is our greatest navigation tool. See you in the stars, cosmic explorers.